Welcome to the Summer Cup Finals day at KG5. We've got two big cup finals headed your way this afternoon, kicking off with the Women's Summer Cup final between the Olympia Warriors and Clarence Zebras. First of two games, the second one, the Olympia Warriors and South Hobart in the Med. Should be a good day of football here at KG5 at a female football festival. A few activities going on here in the lead-in. And now it's ready for the big game between these two teams. One a new entity, but certainly with plenty of players who have been part of a pretty big rivalry with this Olympia side over the past couple of years. They've had some cracking battles, and I'm sure that the new Clarence Zebras side will be just as keen to get the job done as they did the Hobart Zebras on that final day thriller against Olympia last year. That was probably as close as we've got to it last time they met. Although obviously the caveat is this is a brand new club in Clarence Zebras, but it should be a cracking final here today. The players about to wander out. The Cleverers gang there being joined by significant players in their footballing development. Olympia apparently opting not to go with that one, but should be a good game. I'm Andrew Calling. Joining me to call the action here this afternoon is Molly Appleton and Paul Hunt. Good afternoon. What are we expecting from this one, team?
Good afternoon, Andrew. Pleasure to be here, as always, for the first women's game of the season, as Glenn McNeil's booming voice will completely overtake mine. His PA speaker might beat me, so it's all right with everyone. If he's going to keep going, I might just stop talking for about 30 seconds.
As a part of their football career. We'd also like to welcome today Elise Archer, Attorney General, and Michelle Heyman, former Matilda. And Elise is going to say a few words about female.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to be here today and to celebrate certainly this match, women's football. It's great to have Michelle here supporting the girls as well. Thank you to all of you as supporters, and particularly the loved ones, because without volunteers in any community participation sport, we would be obviously nowhere. You know who you are, and you are the lifeblood of not only your own club but our community. We have one of the highest participation rates in Tasmania or in Australia for volunteering, and we're very proud of that, often topping that statistic. This type of football is the largest participation sport in this state now, with 15,000 people participating in both girls, boys, women's and men's soccer. And 26% of that are female. And that, I'm told, is the highest anywhere in Australia. We'd like to see that a lot higher, so come on girls, we'd love to reach 50% participation up with the boys. But what it shows is that this is a great participation sport for both genders and of course mixed games as well. And I wish everyone the best of luck for this game. I know that we've already had the younger girls on this morning, and we've got the men later this afternoon. So on behalf of government and indeed this being my electorate, it's always wonderful to be here at KG Live. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Elise Archer there, just welcoming all the patrons. Should be a good game, this one. And we'll have a quick look at the team list before we get underway here, starting with the Olympia Warriors. In net number 1, Jenna Farrow. New signing, big name, not only in the sheer number of letters, but in profile, former W League player in Zoe Haralampopoulos, going to be a key player for the Warriors this year. Number 4, Sophie Lazinski. Number 6, Mia Kane. Number 7, Madison Chambers, the reigning WSL best and fairest. She's going to be crucial to the Warriors' success today. Number 10, Bonnie Davies, probably the fastest player in the state. Number 11, Hannah Johnson, making the step up to the senior team this year. Number 12, Leah Gubb. Number 13, Heather Russell. Number 14, Innocent Michael. And number 16, Monique Pinkovitz. On the bench, Raya Collins. Number 5, Ella McConnell. Number 9, Isabel Kane. Number 15, Charlotte Chambers. And number 17, Hayley Marino. So the core of that squad there from last year, but a few changes, and obviously, Molly, a big absence with no Olivia Bomford.
Yeah, no Olivia Bomford. I think, of course, you've still got some absolutely amazing players on the board. You've got some good players coming in as well with that, but Olivia Bomford has been the centre of this team for a long time, so it's going to be interesting to see their next phase and see how they go today without her.
So we'll switch over to the Clarence Zebras, who are rocking an unconventional looking kit today, rocking the shorts of Clarence United and the tops of the Hobart Zebras from last year. Their kits have been held up. Corona wreaking havoc across all aspects of sport recently, but have certainly delayed their kits from China long before these other issues have arisen. But a pretty strong team they've assembled with the merger of the two. It was a very talented Hobart Zebras team, and they add into net now Amelia van der Neet, who's widely been regarded as arguably the top keeper in the state for a number of years. Louisa Marmion, another one from Clarence there. Danielle Canagiza said she's going to play on the wing at the press conference. Will she have the job on Chambers? We'll wait and see there. Number 4, Selena Stevenson. Number 6, Georgia Burt. Number 8, Isabella Ferrier. Number 9, Bronte Gadon. Great signing from South Hobart. Wonderful young player. Maddie O'Brien makes her first start of the season, just dropping herself in for the final. Number 12, Zoe Nichols. Number 13, Caitlin Stalker. Number 14, Zara Dixon. Talk about a handy sub. Number 7, Ali Berry. Then you've got Rachel Gill, Stacey Burdock, and Jessica Downham rounding out the bench. And Danielle Canagiza has gone straight to right back is the interesting one. However, it's Bonnie Davies lining up at left wing, so maybe some games being played by both managers, as we're off and racing in the 2020 Summer Cup final. The Warriors and the Zebras vying for that first piece of silverware this year. Maddie O'Brien back to Canagiza. O'Brien had some injury problems over the pre-season. They'll be glad to have her back in there. Stevenson partnering Dixon at the back. They work it forward here. Russell trying to pounce for the Warriors. It'll be a good duel between her and Georgia Burt in the engine room today. Winnie Michael just being robbed of the ball there. Zoe Nichols with a trademark turn there. Should be able to steer this away. They've not really cleared the area though. Ferrier. Aimless pass in the end, and Harry Lampopoulos will work it across to Davies.
Yeah, both Molly and I immediately pointed at Canagiza there, dropping right into right back there as you were saying it, as we now see why she's playing in that position with Davies bursting down the left wing. First to go up against DK, beats it down the line, a low hand cross, but underneath claims that one relatively comfortably. And on rushing, it's Mia Kane, who's playing up top for the Warriors. Now, Harry Lampopoulos, the new signing from Interstate. Looks like she'll slot into centre back. Probably one of the few holes that was needed to fill in this Warriors side, with Maddie Black moving overseas towards the end of last season. Zebras in attack, but Innie Michael manages to cut that one out. But a few tactical surprises and non-surprises here, and both sides keen to win this competition. Two of the most dominant sides last season squaring off. Had some fantastic battles last year against, well, the Hobart Zebras portion of Clebras. And one of the former Clarence players, Dixon, mops that one up. It's just going to be interesting to see how both teams gel so early in the season.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can see the pitch right now, you've got Maddie Chambers is looking like she's playing more in attacking midfield rather than up front on the wing, which has been her favoured position over the past few seasons. It's interesting, as we've already said, best and fairest from last season, and that was all largely from the wing. So of course they've got Mia Kane out on the right today, so it'll be interesting to see how Maddie changes up her game, and she's got the skills to do it, and just see whether she can change the game with that.
It's an interesting move, possibly harder to mark out of the game from centrally. I suppose slightly easier on the wing. We saw Canagiza playing that real man-to-man marking role on it last year. Could be tougher to do in the middle of the park with the option to go both ways, but also potentially solves that Olivia Bomford absence as the chief playmaker, getting Chambers and Michael, who was playing centre-back at the back end of last year after Black went. Getting those two in the midfield, it's a fair way to offset the departure, but the Clipper is pretty good in midfield too. Georgia Burt a big part of that, as is Matty O'Brien, who slides one through. Dangerous attack here. It's a first chance of the game, and sliding in is an offside. Zoe Nichols. The crowd will realise in a second the flag was straight up there on Nichols with some trademark predatory play in the box. But all for naught, and the realisation slowly dawning.
I think we up here and a couple of people to the right of us were the only ones in the grandstand who noticed that flag go up immediately. That was a good 10-second delay. And Steventon should be able to mop up this one. Gets the ball back from Vandenate, but lovely wide ball there from Matty O'Brien. Teammate was in an acre of space. And the right idea to cross it back centrally. As Ferrier gets the ball on the left again. Zinski coming across. Pass right between the legs to Stalker, who's come inside. Hits the byline. Nichols is waiting. Just eludes both the rushing Zebras players. Now Maddie Chambers with a chance to do something more familiar to her and run down the wing. Davies held her rung up, and Zara Dixon has just about killed someone in the front row there.
Prime position there for a ball to launch into the crowd, so it's good to see that we've got interaction early with those of us in the stands.
Checking on the alertness of those in the front row. Marilyn Popoulos plays the ball centrally. Gubb, who seems to have taken an elusive number 9 roll up for the Warriors. Kane, who can also play that in that position, just couldn't quite get that one under. Now O'Brien. And it's a Ferrier. Oh, thought there was a clip there on Marmit. Judge to have just run the ball out. So good to see Claire Green refereeing in the middle here this afternoon. There's Gubb. Managed to work it out wide, do the Warriors. And trying to defend. Kane playing the good 1-2. Pinkovitz gets the cross in, or it doesn't quite, and it rolls out of players there. Just looking at the assistant referee's flag there, bit of strong wind coming across KG5.
You can see it in the hair of some of the girls as well. It's definitely picking up down there.
It's Kane drops it off to Gubb, trying to roll around opposing number. Chambers, good tracking back from Stalker. Kanagiza. Dixon managed to work it out. No real press going on the keeper here from the Warriors. Just about gets it through to O'Brien. Pass forward from Marmion, intercepted by Lazinski. Gubb this time managing to turn Steventon and plays a lovely ball through to Bonnie Davies for her first chance on goal, but really wanted to try and wrap that on the right foot. And in the end, trickles harmlessly to Vandenate.
Yeah, DK caught napping there for half a second and she nearly caught up to it, but Bonnie Davies there definitely with a chance to slot it home, and perhaps a bit disappointed with the finish there, but I'm sure she'll have another opportunity to make a better chance of it.
Yeah, you just see Dixon was sort of dropping 5 yards and Kanagiza was trying to press, and it just allowed a good amount of space for Gubb to play that through ball. Hopefully some of these defensive chinks early from the Zebras will get ironed out, as it's a good turn from Stalker. Now Nichols tries a similar ball to the one Gubb tried earlier. I think it's in better position. Managing to turn his Burt. Intercepted by Michael. Again looking for Davies. Given away by Kanagiza. Maddie Chambers allowed to run at the defence. Maybe the simple ball to Davies would have been the better option there, but Warriors still maintain possession. As Warriors' new captain, Jenna Farrow, gets one of her first touches of the match.
Donning the armband, the keeper, not a common sight, the goalkeeper with the armband, but a real leader of this side for sure, as again Kanagiza will match up with Davies. She'll nip in here and plays it forward. They'll build through Dixon. Really looking forward to see what Zara Dixon can do in this side this year. Has been a shining light in a Clarence team that's certainly battled over the past few seasons, and having her playing for a contender I think is a great thing. She's one of the most talented defenders in the state, but has had far more defending to do than your average centre back. he's probably accustomed to over the past couple of seasons. So looking forward to seeing her in a likely title contender in this Clebra's outfit. A wonderful player, as is Maddie Chambers, and Zoe Nichols working back on her defensively. Lazinski and Haralampopoulos, the makings of pretty good centre-back pairing for the Warriors this year, I think. Gubb trying to chip it forward. It's broken up by the experienced Stevenson, though. Anticipated well by Hannah Johnson. Back to Haralampopoulos. Flicked forward by Gubb. Dixon retreats back to Vandernet. Or Burt. Kanagiza donning the captain's armband for this Clarence team. Maybe a real unifying figure, DK. Former Clarence player and Zebras player. So if anyone's well set for this merge, it'd be her. Certainly well used to Wentworth Park, the new home ground, the Junjun, some like to run with. Kanagiza wastes no time here. Looks at the Burt. Straight down the middle for Nichols. Haralampopoulos, I think, wanted a goalkeeper to come and then gets rather blatantly pushed in the back by Ferrier. Wasn't exactly subtle.
No, the assistant referee on our side here, the former mullet of infallibility, Nathan Code there with the flag up straight away. Pretty obvious one. That one is Johnson. It's the ball moving. Now Davies looks up and sees an on-rushing Maddie Chambers. Dixon dropping about 5 yards and just about played it completely past the keeper. Did well to get it out to Marmion. O'Brien, good challenge. Well, stay there from Pinkovitz. One of the first KJV Burns on the knees coming there with that save. There's 10 minutes gone and just the one chance for each side in anger, really. Zoe Nichols has the ball in the back of the net, but was offside. Davies having that one-on-one chance, which was a comfortable save. Both sides still feeling each other out at the moment as Kanagiza with a little bit of room to spare. Plays it to Stalker. Just about gets around Johnson. Now has Michael for company, who's got pace to burn and comfortably comes across from defensive mid to mop up. She receives the ball again and gets it moving to Johnson. Everyone's sort of running away from her at the moment. Does fall to Chambers. Yeah, Kane's moved centrally for the moment, which is where I saw her play in the Summer Cup, one of the earlier games against Kingborough up at Alinda Grove. Managed to score on that occasion against her former team. Now, Haralampopoulos plays a searching ball looking for Davies, who's just about managed to get on the inside of Marmion, and Kanagiza and Dixon both managed to shank it. There's two shanks equal a right? I think it does, because they've managed to maintain possession. There's the most unintentional assist header there from Bronte Gadden. No idea where that ball was, but it's worked out well for him.
Looks like a neat pass in the end.
It really did, the old back header to yourself. It's not one that you see in the curriculum, but it worked well there for the moment.
Handy to have in the pocket when you need it.
Look, who's who can pull it off. It's well worth keeping in there is Russell. Manages to keep possession for the Warriors. Michael gets a head up and wants to lay it out to Davies. Not enough sauce on that one. Now Ferrier with a chance to run at Lazinski. It'll go all the way back to Farrow.
Fairly cautious start to this one. That team's not overly committing numbers for just yet. The Warriors control at the back, although Zoe Nichols trying to rob Haralampopoulos, and she does just that. Into the box now, Zoe Nichols. Great steering ball for Ferrier! And Ferrier rolls it home! The Clarence Zebras get the opening goal 13 minutes into this one. Zoe Nichols robbing The centre back of the ball rolls it across, and Ferrier is sliding it into the corner, almost in slow motion in the end, but put it out of the reach of the keeper. And just like that, it's Clarence who lead 1-0.
Just like football, it can change just when you think it's a nice cautious game. One nice press. The defence there from
She does
Zoe
just
Nichols.
that. Just the box now, Zoe Nichols. Great turn.
Win the ball for her side. Sensible layback to Isabel Ferrier, who was in the right spot. And
Ferrier! And Ferrier rolls it home!
The side netting. Farrow probably expecting something a bit more powerful. Decided to probably stand up for a tad longer rather than dive for the corner. But hard for any keeper to get it out of there, and it puts Clarence Zebras 1-0 to the good. And we'll see if they can get another one quickly as Nichols fires that one into the feet of Gadden. Nearly a good ball back from Burt. But now will this entice the Warriors to push forward a bit more? As Russell just about gets it forward to Chambers. Now Johnson. Michael with a heavy touch and Nichols lurking. Warriors again do like to play it down the wings a lot, and it's no avail this time as Ferrier tracking back Pinkovitz. O'Brien gets the ball back. Lays it to Nichols. Flick onto Stalker. Calls for handball. And given way of the Warriors. I thought that was more of an elbow in the body on the Warrior player handball, but referee Green having a lot better view of that than myself. Kane, lovely turn there from Maddie Chambers. There's a great ball back to Mia Kane. Davies coming towards the back post. Dixon coming across to rubber of the ball. And it's a good challenge from the centre back. Lays it out for first corner of the game, I believe.
Yep,
indeed.
First corner.
Plenty of bodies back defending the short corner here. I think it was the initial plan. They go near post, and Dixon deflects it off the Warriors player in the end. And it'll be a goal kick. So very nicely done. How do you reckon the Warriors get back into this one, Molly? A goal down inside 15 minutes, not the ideal start they were looking for, that's for sure.
Yeah, not the ideal start, and I think from the way they've come out today, it sort of shows it wasn't, because they're very cautious with how they're playing. They're trying to be a bit more compact in the middle. I think it's just sending those balls a bit faster, a bit more urgency. A few of the challenges, the Zebras, Clarence Zebras have just come in that bit stronger and that bit hungrier for the ball. So I think, you know, they've got ball players, and it's just up front for the Zebras right now with Gadden on the ball, finding space for Stalker, who's searching, but it's easy for the keeper.
Jenna Farrow collecting that and releasing quickly, finding Chambers. We saw that sharp little spin in midfield moments ago. Probably looms as the key. What can she do? Quite on the same page as her striker there and Gubb. Rolls harmlessly through for Vandernier. Kanageza. And Burt. Michael dropping in ahead of Nichols. Chambers eager to impose herself on this contest. Sends it across for Gubb. Plenty of time and space there. No one really pressing it. The Cleverest quite happy to sit off early in this one. Both teams, in fact, have been fairly happy to sit off till the other team gets a little bit deeper, which the Warriors do now. Davies has flipped across to the right-hand side here and runs straight into heavy traffic. Monty Godon able to break that up. Michael. Aaron Lapopoulos will be keen to atone for the goal, and she nearly did there. I think the through ball, Gubb just unable to bring it down, but you see the centre-back charging forwards, wanting to make her mark after having a pocket picked on that opening goal there by Zoe Nichols.
Man, just the other thing I've noticed about the Warriors is, I don't know if this is just from all the pre-season training on Warrior Park, they just seem a bit more hesitant to hit the touchline. They sort of run 10 metres as if they're running towards the sideline, but on this bigger pitch at KG5, they've actually got about another 15 metres to go. Maybe you see the likes of Davies or Pinkovic trying to get width. They're probably getting width by Warrior Park standards, but here at KG5, you can really stretch the play if you want to. It's something they'll look to change up at some point as Steventon goes right down the middle. Good layoff from Nichols. Stalker here in a foot race against Farrow, and Farrow goes the kick save to knock it out for a throw-in. Wasn't quite sure if it would roll safely into her arms. Safety first approach from the Warriors captain as Kanagiza throws it in to Nichols, surrounded by Warriors. Eventually, Michael comes away with it. Gubb out to Davies, who's now re-emerged on this left-hand side, but left the ball behind her. Now, Warriors attack down the right through Russell. Dixon coming forward and pressing the striker. Nichols using her body well against Haralan-Popoulos and plays a lovely ball through to Stalker. Stalker tries to get around the other defender and does. Caitlin Stalker into the corner. Good diving save. And Jenna Farrow went the same method as what gave her side the lead that Ferrier used, low into that bottom corner. This time, Farrow had her angles covered.
You have to wonder if that's a mandate from the coach or what they've been practicing all week, really, is the low into the corners. And it's Bonnie Davies who puts it into the box for Gubb. And the kick comes from the middle, but it's nowhere near the target.
Chambers getting that one into the car park. It's shot not quite as close to my car as one Jaden Hay hit about an hour and a half ago at Cambridge. It was frighteningly close to the lid of my boot. And it's nonetheless still high, wide and handsome. Now Davies with a chance to run at the defence. Marmion keeping the inside line. And in the end, managing to win the first battle and plays it off the defender as well for the throw-in. The Warriors starting to put a little more pressure on this Zebras line up. That goal just about swinging into action as O'Brien's given away to Kane. Davies went the big air swing. Burt got a toe in to start. Now Nichols. Mazinski. Interesting, she lets that one run out for a throw rather than keep it in play. Trying to keep the ball moving forward as Russell. Mazinski now Michael. Good opportunity here to switch the play if she wants to turn out Vinnie Michael. Next to go back to the keeper. Warriors playing it out well from the back as Pinkovic goes on the charge. Tries to hit it towards Davies. Again, Marmion getting the inside line. Now Davies has it. Chance to run it. Ferrier. Low crosses. Dixon and her body shape correct and comfortably knocks it out for a corner. Warriors second of the match. And interesting to see if they go short here. The Russell had a 40-yard run there to get it short. Eventually goes that way. Pinkovic across from a more central position and Gubb got a head to it. Chambers will look to keep it in. Chambers searching for options and in the end just find a Zebras defender.
Yeah, not the best work there. Chambers straight to Dixon. She might get another look here. She's crying out for it. One-on-one with Kanagiza. A great battle 6 months or so ago, and Chambers skips free and puts the cross in. Dixon there in coverage though. She got on. Cleared it straight to Johnson. Johnson to Gubb, and now Michael. Innocent Michael. Slides it through for Kane, back to Michael. From the extreme angle, she squeezed it right between the legs of Vanderneets. Oh, the keeper will want that one back, but Olympia are back on terms from the impossible angle. Innocent Michael, well, buy a ticket, win the lottery, very much the case there. You don't expect to see a mistake like that from a keeper of Amelia Vanderneet's quality, but it's got the Warriors back on terms.
When you're at that angle, there's not too many places you can put it. One is high and powerful, and the other is straight through the legs, and that's what Eddie Michaels aimed for down there. As we'll have a look at that on replay. 1-2 with Kane right on the byline and right through the legs of Amelia van der Neet.
It's the goal that you dream of for a cup final, isn't it really? And it looks like for the Warriors it's really working at the moment. They've shuffled the pack a little in attack. Maddie Chambers is back on the left where she's more preferred, with Mia Kane moving centrally and Bonnie Davies back on the right. It looks like Jubb has drifted in a little bit deeper than what she was beginning. And here's the Zebras on Clarence Zebras on the attack. Zoe wrestling with the ball. And she slides it off to Gadden, who takes the punt, but easy for the keeper there.
Well done, Maddie Chambers. Not known for her defensive work, the attacking winger there, but got back and did just enough to put Zoe Nichols off on that occasion. It could have been disastrous. Almost the immediate response from the Zebras. 1-1 the score here. Olympia attacking down the right again. Both the wingers seem pretty interchangeable in this setup for Olympia. Bonnie Davies has been flipping from left to right like a swing voter. As Danielle Kanageza punches this one down the line. Seen into touch by Johnson.
Warriors have gone to what I think would be their more traditional setup. I didn't notice Gubb on the field when I saw the Warriors a few weeks ago, but this was pretty much the formation they were running, with Kane up front, Davies and Chambers on the wing, Michael in centre defence, and Russell in centre mid as well. So probably more of maybe of a plan A or sort of a default setting from the Warriors at the moment, and what a tactic it is that you can use to have Chambers and Davies on the wing. And as Michaels just rescues that touch and looks to play a long searching ball. I mean, managing to cut that one out. Now Michael again. And just since that goal, Clarence Zebras, or their first goal, they've just drifted further and further back. Their defensive line is really sitting deep, and now there's an overload on the grandstand side. Instead they knock it towards Davies. Intercepted again, and now O'Brien. Zebras really should look to push that defensive line up 5 or 10 yards. Right. Bit hard to do when you give the ball away, as Lazinski raise it through to Kane. Gubb. Sorry, Russell not quite getting the purchase on that she required.
I wonder if the Warriors have learnt a bit from last year's Summer Cup final. I mean, it was a furious tempo to that game with the Kimberley Lions in the first half. By about the hour mark, a lot of players were hitting the wall in that one. It went to extra time. It became a real battle of attrition, but still pre-season, still building fitness for the season ahead. And I wonder if that's maybe just led to their approach a little bit, just holding back a little with the furious pressing that we might have seen in previous seasons from them. It's, on such a big pitch at this time of year, it's pretty tough to sustain that for 90 minutes. And I remember last year they were dropping like flies towards the end of the Summer Cup final. And that Lions versus Warriors thriller in the decider last year. The Warriors winning that one, the defending champions of this one. Looking to back up that crown.
It was a really late winner from memory in extra time, like 118th or something crazy like that, wasn't it?
It was high drama. I'd hope for a similar type game here today. The crowd will definitely get their money's worth, as the offside flag's just been raised here on Ferrier. They look to sneak in behind again.
Lazinski will take the free kick. Will no doubt take it short, in line with what the Warriors do from just about every free kick. And there we go. Plays it to Harry Lampopoulos. Michael just about went without it, and it's stolen by Bronte Gadden. Runner out wide in Ferrier. 3 available in front of her. Elects to go to Nichols. Good intercept there from the defender. Now O'Brien. Burt. Michael thumping that one clear. Kane tries to get it under control, but just lays it to roughly where she would have been on the last defender. Kanagiza. Ball to Burt. Chambers pressing like crazy, but Burt manages to get it away to Stalker. Looking for Nichols, but splits the two Zebras players, and now Michael. Every time she gets the ball lately, Michael, she's just getting her head up and looking for Bonnie Davies. Eventually falls to the Warriors winger, but in the last sort of 15 minutes since she's moved to that side, Umamian has done a stellar job, and Ferrier calls for offside. The flag has stayed down. Harold Lampopoulos can't believe that decision. Needs to track back quickly as Ferrier crosses it towards Burt. Low ball to Stalker, who's come all the way across. Keeps it in. Nichols is in an acre of space, but good defending there in the end. It was Johnson who'd come all the way across and followed Stalker from the right wing position. And made the crucial interception, as Nichols would have been definitely onside that time. Some personalised service there from those collecting the ball on the far side there.
Silver service from ball girl, just popping it down on the spot. Speaking of silver service, Georgia Burt normally pretty good over a dead ball, and she swings this in near post. Keep it came, but defender dealing with that one before it reached her, so we'll have another crack. The Warriors back defending the 6-yard box here. It's Georgia Burt. Try and spot the run of Dixon. Again goes near post, and no one made a run there, and again it's just not into touch. Rinse and repeat. Just swung a couple in near post, and no one's actually attacked it for the Zebras. The Warriors have got plenty of bodies back defending that section.
Definitely well defended on both occasions, and they go for the third time.
Well, that's better. It might lead to a goal. It has. It's popped in. I'm not sure he's got the final touch on it.
Zoe Nichols is going to celebrate it anyway by the looks of things, so that's what all good strikers do. Claim the goal, whether it's yours or not.
We'll have a look at the replay and see. You're right, I wouldn't be trusting Zoe on this one. Let's have a look here. Oh, might have come off a knee.
Might be right.
No, she has been honest. Fair play, Zoe. She gets the goal. 2-1. Bit of a scrappy one, but they all count.
I was going to guess Ferrier, but I'm glad Zoe Nichols did a usual celebration there, just letting us know. It was eventually the corner persistence pays off. Third time lucky there for the Zebras.
Scored by number 8, Rothgate.
Well, hang on.
Don't think controversy here.
Bronte isn't number 8 either.
Now we're going to go with Gubb coming down the wing. Stevenson fires it back to her, as we'll overrule Glenn McNeil here in a second, as the Warriors still looking at pressing. Eddie Michael is just running the show in the centre mid here.
Beautiful play there. Too much space. Beautiful play.
Gets the return ball, and it's Mia Kane over the top from 6 yards. Just had to keep that one down. But Eddie Michael just absolutely running the show in midfield there for the moment. There were two beautiful pieces of skill.
What
Mia
a
Kane.
reply that would have been.
She's got the power on it too, does Mia Kane. And just to confirm, we up here in the official dubious goals panel, we're giving that to Zoe Nichols.
To be fair, pitchside doesn't have a look at the replay, and I wasn't sure who scored on first look. I think we'll go with Nichols. It appeared to be her, seemed to be her knee. But at the end of the day, 2-1 is the only thing that really matters. And, geez, it was a big chance for the immediate response there. Mia Kane, you expect her to take those ones. She's a goal scorer. And a big opportunity goes begging there. Chambers was absolutely surrounded. Now Michael, who is looming perhaps as the key to this game for the Warriors. Every time she's got a hold of it in midfield, she's looked to drive the play and make things happen. And if they're going to get back into this one, you'd think Innocent Michael is going to be central to all of that. And you've spotted something there, Molly?
Yeah, it looks like there's been another switch in the front line for Olympia, and it might see Eddie Michael finding Bonnie Davies through the centre as Mia Kane and Bonnie Davies have switched sides, and there is a foul in the centre of the pitch, and I missed what happened there, but the ref looks over it.
Yeah, so it was Bronte Gadden and Eddie Michael having what looked like a 50-50. Eddie Michael did land fairly hard on the surface. It wasn't anything immediately obvious live, but we'll have another look at the replay. It was Gadden getting her body across. the 50-50. Michael did not really move after she hit the deck. And the referee rightly stopping play. Still looking in some discomfort. There's Indy Michael as both sides taking the opportunity for a quick drink. Certainly the Warriors are. Zebras choosing the middle huddle with the exception of Bird and Kanagisa. Maybe their experience in getting a drink in. As Indy Michael, at least the top half of body's back upright, and now she is as well. Still having a chat with the trainer. As we might see a couple of minutes of added time here in this first half. And except for that sort of outside of the first 10 minutes, it's a really engaging contest here. 3 goals, a couple of other good chances. And whilst Clarence Zebras in front, certainly haven't dominated. And I don't know about you, Molly, but I'd certainly expect at least one of the sides to get another goal in before half time.
Yeah, definitely. I think once that first goal got in, the tension of the game sort of broke a bit. Both teams opened up. There's a lot of space in midfield for both teams, are having the chance to sort of pick their pass. And for Olympia, Key's still Inny Michael, so hopefully she's back out there soon and isn't too hurt as she walks to the bench.
It's not looking good there for Inny Michael, almost taking a seat on the bench in there. There's not a huge amount of movement in terms of someone to replace her. I do see Charlotte Chambers warming up, and the rest of the subs still mainly paying attention to the game. So the Warriors looks like they'll continue with 10 for the meantime, and it seems like they've won a free kick. I thought that was going to be a drop ball. And a free kick has been given and plays back underway. Warriors, Chambers using her body well to not lose the ball. Davies has again switched out to when she originally started. Seems like the Warriors sort of doing in the front three sort of 5-minute rotations here of where they're playing. And winning the throw in is Ferrier.
Adam Powell on the Clever's bench today with the usual coach Chris Hay just buggering off to Queensland. Chris, shout out to you. I'm sure you're listening. Hope it's nice and sunny up there, mate.
Hope there's no rain on your parade today, Chris.
No, Powley, I'm told, has autonomy over the team today. We'll see if Chris is Skyping in at half-time. He's denied it. Doesn't mean it wouldn't happen.
Well, it's going to be FaceTime, isn't it? So we can deny the Skyping.
Well, true. But no, Powley, the man running the show for the Zebras today, I'm informed. Well, I was also informed that DK was playing on a wing, so do you trust a word that comes out of the camp pre-game? That's the big question.
Is Chris Hay even in Queensland?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Just continuing the conspiracy going. Chambers, again with the backheader. That must be a taught skill at the Warriors. Second time we've seen that so far. Stevenson. Kane doing a good job of closing down the angles on Marmion. That's a risky ball to play back to Selena Stevenson. She's done very well there, the centre-back. Dixon. Kanagisa. Burt's also an option. Now Ferrier. Concy Gadden. Ferrier in a good pocket of space as the sun bursts through from the clouds, and also coming from the clouds is Caitlin Stalker. Good shielding there from the Warriors' defence. A yard on a defender initially as Harry Lampopoulos leaves that one short. Now Nichols. Couple of runners forward. I think Stalker wanted the diagonal ball there as Nichols just pushes a few players out of the way. Eventually crowded out by Warriors. Shooting down Chambers. Stalker will try to keep that one in. It will fall for a goal kick to the Warriors. It's nice to see the sun out here at KG5. Bucketed down for most of all day yesterday. Good to see conditions almost perfect for this Women's Summer Cup final. Harry-Lampopoulos passes it at the last possible moment. Now Davies. Chambers making a good run, and that's a good ball from Davies. Chambers, Kanagiza running back. Kane looking to go around the backside of Marmion. But she's done very well there. It's not only stop the attack and then also knock it out for a throw 20 yards upfield. On the throw in, it'll be Pinkovic. Burt getting a toe in, and Zebra's the chance to counter. It's 1-on-3 for Nichols. In the end, that numerical advantage works for the Warriors. Kanagiza coming inside to win it. Ferry is in a good pocket of space. Johnson gets a touch to it, just to delay her progress. Ferrier, Kanagiza again. Johnson, good ball towards Russell, calls for handball, not given. Pickering just explaining that one to Matty O'Brien as to why that wasn't handball.
Comes off the foot, hits the arm, it's fine.
It's, yeah, one bit of the new handball rule I do understand is that one. Glad a nice easy one for us here in one of the first games of the season. There's a bit of player ball retrieval there, not unlike the men's ODI cricket match yesterday of a couple of the players heading into the grandstand after a six due to no one being there and searching for the ball like backyard cricket. It was great to see. As Gubb lays it back towards Kane. There, Kane trying to hit the byline. Absolutely no space given. And they will keep the ball from the throw-in, will the Warriors? So we have a look in that far left corner there at the Optus truck, showing some photos, both new school and old school, of women's football. Actually quite distracting. It's almost get caught watching it rather than the game itself. There's Chambers. Keeps the ball. Plays it back to Michael. Which is about to line up a shot there, Michael. She'll go the dribble instead and beats 2 or 3. Kane with the toe, and it's just wide of the far post. But another good run from Annie Michael, showing no ill effects of her injury earlier. Kane, good power, but not quite the accuracy. As Kanagiza launches one forward. Lazinski with pressure coming from Stalker, who robs it of her. Trying to go around the outside. Nichols still available central. Ferrier now offering support. Stalker still doing it herself. Managed to beat 2, and eventually the third defender comes across and whacks it into touch.
See on the replay there, plenty of numbers back for the Warriors to deal with that. They wouldn't want to ship another one before half-time. A crucial few minutes coming up for both sides, but certainly with the Warriors defending at the moment. Scared out a 2-goal lead, although it did overturn such a deficit to qualify for the final, beating South Hobart 4-2 in a game they trailed 2-0 at the break. So also 0-0 against Kingborough, won that one 2-0. So they've been the second half specialist in the group stage of the Cup. They may well need to be so again today here. Here's Matty Chambers. This round doesn't have a lot of support. He's static around her there. So too, centre half. She couldn't quite find Russell there. Harry-Lampopoulos. Just statuesque, a few of these Warriors players. Maybe a little bit tired as we creep towards half time, but move a little bit more and provide some options at the moment. So the Clippers looking more likely as Bronte Cadon slid it through, looking for Zoe Nichols. Broken up by the ever reliable Sophie Lazinski. Quality defender. A number of seasons now. Michael gets in ahead of Gadon. Now almost a chance developing there, but it was played in behind of Matty O'Brien. In her first appearance of the pre-season. She rolls it across for Stalker. Behind it goes for a corner, and it's where the previous goal came from. Third time of asking, 3 corners in a row third one. They struck. It'll be O'Brien to take on this occasion. Nichols lurking once more. Sarah Dixon calling for it. See if they go near post once again. Into the mix off the head of Dixon. Not completely away, might fall for Ferrier. And clearance is blocked by Ferrier. Out for a goal kick.
As we've got a minute plus stoppage time. At a guess with the Indy Michael injury, that's probably 2 minutes for that one, I reckon. So we'll see probably at least that from the fourth official Monty piece soon. There's goal kick and Harold Lampopoulos allowed to run it out. Our own 18-yard box. Russell to Lazinski and Kane. Pinkovic and Kane combining well. Russell. Once again, it's Russell looking for Michael. Just trying to push Georgia Pert off the ball there. It was Gubb, actually. Good ball towards Chambers. Lovely drag back. Went the roller coaster as well, but Georgia Pert's seen that trick a few times. There's Lazinski. Once again with the ball in the centre circle, looking to drive forward. Just hits the ball right into her opposing player in front of her. And now it's Marmion going forward. Stalker is covering her at left back, and the ball will roll harmlessly out, and it is 2 minutes allowed for stoppage time.
And the fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 additional minutes.
And Farrow, can the Warriors create one last chance before the half? Lampopoulos looking to make something happen. Just plays it right to Dixon. Now the Zebras look to go forward. This time it seems like it's just the time for centre backs or defenders to be striding forward.
Never complain about a defender run.
No.
Wishing that pulled off a little bit better than what it was there, but we got close, and it's back at the feet of another defender who can run with the ball.
And like all good defenders, did need to pull up to stretch the muscles after that run as well, did Lazinski. So
catch your breath a bit as well in that moment, and yeah.
Proper defender on that one. It was Davies. Oh, he's at first time. Look at the pace difference on Stalker. Went from even to about 3 yards in front there in no time at all.
And Mia Kane's fast as well, so you're just going fast against fast, and it's faster than fast, so it feels like a Dr. Seuss novel almost between the two.
Absolutely. There's O'Brien
hip checks.
just muscling her opponent out of the way there. Dixon, that's risky. The centre-back position is Burt.
Some outstanding centre-back runs and turns late on in this half, and there's almost another one with the early cutout.
Good duel that. Dixon against Chambers in the end. Bronte Gadon came across in support. Nichols' first time layoff. Some space here for Isabella Ferrier to work into. Charges down the right now. Gets her head up and swings it in. It's a dangerous looking ball there. Marmion lurking, but out comes Farrow. And she'll clean that up, and that will probably be that for the first half here at KG5. In the Summer Cup final, Farrow launches it long. Now 2 minutes. So number 10's dueling there, Davies and O'Brien. And that will do for the first half. So it's the Clarence Zebras with a 2-1 lead as we head into the break. Zoe Nichols kneeing home from a corner, the go-ahead goal. It had been Nichols who set up the opening goal for Ferrier before Michael on the impossible angle squeezed one between the legs of Vanderneet to level for the Warriors. Plenty in it for both sides, and all still to play for in the second half. What did you make of the first 45 there, Molly?
The first 45, I think the first 10 was definitely testing each other out. It definitely needed a goal, and that came right as you can see on the screen. And it was bottom placed. That's what you want as a centre, as a forward. You know, that's what you ask for. And I think that definitely opened the game up. By the end of the half, I think it showed that bit of tired legs in there, and you could see as the centre backs had a lot of space to run into gaps opening in midfield, but both teams are sitting a bit deeper than what you probably would have thought they would at the start of the match. And whether that's going to work or not, we'll see for the second half. What do you reckon, Paul?
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there, Molly. I'm expecting more goals in this second half. I think both sides have got plenty left in them. A few still pre-season chinks to be ironed out, but I think both sides have realised where their strengths are, and I reckon both of them will try to play to them in what expects to be an enthralling second half.
It is, and we'll leave you with that and be back shortly. I think we've got an exhibition of walking football coming up here at half time, showing that football is indeed for all, but we'll leave you with that and be back shortly with the second half of the Summer Cup final. After 45 minutes, it's the Clarence Zebras holding sway, 2-1.
First to go up against DK, beats it down the line, a low hand cross, but underneath. Claims that one relatively comfortably. On rush.
Good in midfield too. Georgia Burt, a big part of that, as is Matty O'Brien, who slides one through. Dangerous attack here. It's a first chance of the game, and sliding in is an offside. Zoe Nichols. The crowd will realise in a second the flag was down the middle for Nichols. Populous, I think, wanted a goalkeeper to come, and then gets rather blatantly pushed in the back by Ferrier. Rob Helen Populous, and she does just that. Into the box now, Zoe Nichols. Great turning ball for Ferrier! And Ferrier rolls it home! The Clarence Zebras get the opening goal 13 minutes into this one. Zoe Nichols robbing.
Coming towards the back post. Dixon coming across the robber of the ball. And it's a good challenge from the centre back. Lays it out for first corner. Nichols, Stalker here in a foot race against Farrow, and Farrow just the kick save. Knock it out for a throw in. Not sure if he would roll. Stalker tries to get around the other defender and does. Caitlin Stalker into the corner. Good dive and save. Jenna Farrow went the same method.
Michael. And the other one is Kane, back to Michael. The extreme angle, she squeezed it right between the legs of Vanderneets. Oh, the keeper will want that one back, but Olympia are back on terms from the impossible angle. Innocent Michael. Slides it through for Kane, back to Michael. From the extreme angle, she squeezed it right between the legs of Vanderneets. Oh, the keeper will want that one back, but Olympia are back on terms from the impossible angle. Innocent.
Wrestling with the ball. And she slides it off to Gadden, who takes the punt, but easy for the keeper there.
Well done.
Occasions, and they go for the third time.
Well, that's better. It might lead to a goal. It has. It's popped in. I'm not sure he's got the final touch on it.
Zoe Nichols is going to celebrate it anyway by the looks of things, so that's what all good strikers do. Claim the goal, whether it's yours. Too much space. Beautiful play. Gets
the return ball, and it's Mia Kane over the top from 6 yards. Just had to keep that one down. But Innie Michael just absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like there's been another switch in the front line for Olympia, and it might see Innie Michael finding Bonnie Davies through the centre as Mia Kane and Bonnie Davies have switched sides. And there
she's about to line up a shot there, Michael. She'll go the dribble instead and beats 2 or 3. Kane with the toe, and it's just wide of the far post. Area now offering support. Stalker still doing it herself. Managed to beat 2, and eventually the third defender comes across and whacks it into touch.
Dangerous looking ball there, Marmy and lurking, but out comes Farrow. And she'll clean that up, and that will probably be that for the first half here at
Okay, I'm sure you're getting the gist of the game here. It is lots of fun. We have a walking football game that happens every Tuesday morning from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock at Kingborough Sports Centre. And watch out as more of them pop up. It's becoming a very popular sport. One of the largest growth things happening over in the UK in terms of football. Lots of walking clubs starting their walking football clubs. And as you can see, it's still lots of fun, even though we have some restrictions here in the game. I see lots of smiling faces out there.
One person can sit in the middle of it. I just checked. There is okay. I might put a few kids there. Where are we going? Well, we can sit here and the kids can sit there. Yeah. Kayla and Mia could two kids sit there. Kayla and Mia could sit there. We can sit there. They'll be on the okay. Taylor and Mia can sit there. You and I can go in here with Mum. And the boys can just go down there. Where's Mel gone? Where did Mel go with her?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're very quiet in the first half. Can we show some appreciation for our teams? Clarence Zebras and Olympia FC Warriors as they return to the pitch. One substitution has occurred at half-time for Clarence Zebras off. Number 4, Selena Stevenson, and coming on, Ali Berry. Good luck to both teams.
Alrighty, we are back for the second half here at KG5. The Clarence Zebras are leading 2-1, and they've just injected Ali Berry into the game, if you don't mind. Fairly handy ace up the sleeve there, and she's come on for Selena Stevenson. Looks like Maddie O'Brien will drop back into centre half alongside Dixon, and Berry will take up her customary position in the middle of the park. So fairly handy reinforcement there.
Very handy indeed. And just to put on another 20-goal-a-season striker just off the bench and
Just casually.
just casually do that, and then, you know, one of the best centre halves in the game who was playing slightly out of position. I know she can play centre mid as well, Maddie O'Brien, but I'd probably prefer her at centre back. Just a slot back there as well. Not bad at all as Burt tries to lay it towards Stalker. No substitutions from the Warriors side at half time as there's a wrestling match going on between Gubb and Marmion. We'll see Pinkovitz go for a run down the right hand side, but we'll turn the ball over to Klebras, who are in the lead 2-1 at the moment. O'Brien sizing up her options. Stalker, good ball through to Nichols, and the spin will fall nicely for Zoe Nichols. Stalker up in support, gets the ball back. Stalker gets on the right foot, but good block in the end by Haralampopoulos, and a goal kick appears to be given for reasons I don't quite understand.
Yeah, I think slightly bemused there's Ali Berry in central midfield. They got away with one there, I reckon.
Oh, look, scrambling defence like that deserves something, even if it's a goal kick in the end.
Yeah, it's pretty much the centre-backs doing what they want here so far, especially in the last few minutes, as Nichols will chase that one down, causing Farrow again to go with the kick clearance. Second time we've seen that from her in this match. There's Kanagiza still playing in that right back position for the time being. Throws it in over the head of Berry, challenging Michael, and bring the ball back for a free kick. Berry just asserting herself in the match a bit too forcefully there as Haralampopoulos goes to Chambers. It's a wall of white in a way. In the end, Dixon does enough. Now Ferrier. Going to Burt. With nutmeg on the referee. Cleared by the Warriors. Again out for a throw. Early stages of this second half. Most of it in the Zebras attacking half so far. It'll be Kane dropping back. The two sixes going at each other. Robbed by Bronte Gadden. Storming down the line is Ferrier. Has she done enough to keep it in? She does, but we'll turn it over. Berry sticks a leg up. Should be hit by Nichols, and just wide. I thought the Warriors player had a pretty easy opportunity to clear that. Nichols has somehow contorted her body. We'll turn it over. Had a pretty good shot on goal there, Molly. Berry sticks a leg up.
Yeah, as we have another look over here, and Nichols just had the fall off the ball. Unfortunately, just didn't fall for Olympia there with Russell, it looks like, on the replay. And yeah, definitely half a chance there for Clarence.
Warriors again look to build from the back. This time, probably the first long aerial ball might fall to Davies. Marmion gets the inside running. Does just enough as Kanagiza has really left one short there for Dixon. TK able to pass it forward. Now Ferrier calling for it. Stalker on this grandstand side. O'Brien continues to charge forward. Stalker just lays it too far out. In front of the on-rushing Marmion. Cleared on for Nichols to chase down. Lazinski just places that one into touch and looking to get the ball moving quickly are the Zebras. Nichols gets around one. Zoe Nichols driving and shoots, but Farrow comfortably claims that one and throws it out early. Burt doing well just to hold up her opposing player. Calls for shoot and Gannon does oblige. And Farrow getting her body comfortably behind the ball there. Now Chambers doesn't have a great deal of options ahead of her. Eventually turns back. Still charging forward. Davies is the only one forward and it nearly falls to her. Stalker showing her great pace to run back and keep possession for her side. There's
plenty of space opening up through the middle there for no press on the centre backs.
No, not at all, and also plenty of space out here on the right-hand side should they decide to use it, and they eventually do through Ferrier. Berry's in a great position in the centre. Can they get the cross in? And it's just behind. Billy Berry did not have a defender within 5 yards of her there inside the box as Kanagiza strides forward for the first time. Berry tries to turn the defender. Nichols is waiting, but Farrow does well to cut off the angle. But Zebra's really cranking up the dial here.
Yeah, you get the sense they're looking for an early goal here. Get that 2-goal cushion. Really flooding numbers forward at the moment. Fullbacks pushing on. And Berry just that added bit of impetus in the midfield. She's just stayed right up top for the time being, but you get the sense they're keen for an early goal here. Very tough sledding for the Warriors to stare down the 2-goal deficit early in this one. Here's O'Brien. Real pressure on her as this one's nodded forward. Pinkowitz sold Lazinski into a bit of trouble there. And in the end, Haralampopoulos across with the safety first approach. The dangerous Zoe Nichols lurking. She learned all about that with the first goal. Not someone you want to give a sniff to. Quickly robbed her of the ball. Set up that opening goal of the match. Squaring it to Ferrier and rolled it into the corner. Here's Georgia Burt. Looking for Marmion. Shoulder to shoulder there with Davies. And wins the throw. Her pace probably going to be a key weapon in this second half as players start to get a little bit more tired. You might see some more space opening up for the likes of Bonnie Davies out there who can really do some damage. Got some serious wheels, and that's a fairly cynical one there from Nichols. Might be the first slice of cheese of the day. Well, hasn't she done a good job looking innocent there, Zoe? That was as cynical as they come. Knew exactly what she was doing there. And I'm not sure how she's escaped with a booking there, to be honest.
It was a great just arms up in the air to the referee. No, honest, it was an accident. It was an accident. I don't think it was. It's no cheddar distributed just yet.
Yeah, consider herself fortunate there, I think, Nichols. Looking slightly worse for her is Pinkowitz off the back of it. A nasty one. Hopefully she'll be all right to continue. Nasty stinger, but anyway, Lazinski at the back as play resumes. Haralampopoulos demanding movement, but not seeing it in front of us, so strikes it out to Chambers. Up against Gardon. Goes past her, and goes past Kanagiza too, then slides through a dangerous looking ball for Gubb. She's got Davies central. Just had her held up there by Maddie O'Brien. Nicely defended. Innocent Michael nearly drove the midfield brigade for the Warriors in this first half. She dwells on the ball here a second, and she's not particularly happy with the movement around her there, I think, Michael. Not happy with the lack of options being offered. Just threw her hands up. Chambers can't get the better of Kanagiza on this occasion.
We'll see the first substitution for the Warriors. It does look like Inkovitz not able to continue. He's gone straight down to the bench. And coming on is Hayley Marino. Played a bit of fullback last year from memory for the Warriors, so like for like replacement available for them. There's Dixon bodies up to Gubb. And that one is now Zebra's throw in as well. I thought Dixon just comfortably cleared that one. But Zebras will now get moving. Nichols has Ferrier down the right-hand side. He pauses, lays it back to Nichols. Switch could have been on early, but not quite quick enough, and now it's turned over. Yep, sizing up the pass. Lays it to Russell. Kane just took her eye off the ball there temporarily, as it's a great ball down the line to Stalker. Just about keeps it in and sets the new player Marino a task. Keeps it in, still going is Stalker, and just crosses a tad too high for the on-rushing Zoe Nichols. Great turn of pace from Stalker. As Michael intercepts and gets her head up, looks forward, and it's just Bonnie Davies she had in front of her. Still looking for options is Michael. Might have to go back to the keeper here, and does. Warriors time to reset. Paralympopolis fires it into legs of the opponent a metre in front of them. Now Chambers up against Canagiza. Sets Davies a task. And the two number 10s coming up against each other now in direct opposition. After that early flurry from the Zebras in the first 2 minutes, it's just probably still them in the ascendancy. They're just starting to even out a little more as the game continues. As Stalker, Marino, too eager there in diving into the challenge. Maddie O'Brien spots the early ball, and not a ball it is. Right over the top. Time in. Nichols is coming. Farrow through her legs. Falls to Nichols. And that makes it 3-1 to the Zebras. Zoe Nichols can definitely claim this one. First time. Knocks it in from a couple of yards out. And the Zebras extend their lead.
Yeah, that's what makes Zoe so good, is that follow through there. She's such a natural poacher with her game, and that just puts it onto the plate as we see the replay here. Marmion making the early run, putting the ball across, and the keeper almost had it in her hands there, but just to make sure it goes in, you've got Zoe Nichols. Who else to pummel it into the net and make sure of it?
Yeah, just Farrow got two hands to it. Just a bit too much power on it from the strike from Marmion, and full credit as well. She'll go to Maddie O'Brien on the secondary assist there. Great quick free kick. Just spotted the run of her fullback. And beautifully weighted pass on the way through. As now the Warriors with a mountain to climb. As Andrew mentioned earlier, they did come back from 2 goals down earlier in this competition against South. As Berry a bit too much of the ankle of Heather Russell there rather than the ball. Once again, the trainer needed for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's looking like an ankle problem here for Russell. She's smiling though, so that's always a good sign. But the trainer's still required, and maybe just some extra strapping, or the strapping might help that. Or no, we've got the subs sign. So
that was more of a grimace smile rather than anything else. As
hopeful smile.
Yeah, unfortunately,
yeah, no pressure on that.
It's all rather unravelling here for the Warriors. 2 players now after injuries and a 2-goal deficit. It's starting to look tough, and that's going to be the end of Heather Russell's day. Unfortunately, didn't put any weight on that ankle. So a second sub forced to be deployed here by Olympia. 2 injury relation subs in the first 15 minutes of the second half. And coming on, looks like it's going to be Isabel Kane.
Substitution from the FC Warriors, coming on number 13, Heather Russell, and coming on number 9, Isabel Kane.
See how that, if that does indeed shuffle the pack or not, or if Kane will stay in the same position. It looks like it'll all stay the same for the moment. So Warriors get back underway. Lazinski, Chambers, trying to turn around the defence. She's got 2 against her. Danny just came in and robbed it right off her toe. And now Nichols, Berry, Stalker, Ferrier in front of her. Berry left it, expecting Stalker to be behind. Wasn't quite there on this occasion. And the Zebras look to keep turning that screw. It's Georgia Burt, Nichols bodying up against Lazinski. Trying to roll the defender. Could lay it back to Berry. Indeed, nearly lays it back to an on-rushing Burt. Just getting a toe in other Warriors. And now it's Mia Kane. Looking to try and get around her opposing number. Davies is out wide. Has the matchup with Kanagiza, who I'll say she headed that one clear. I think that might have been. I think it might that more have been Falcon cleared.
Yeah, I think that just went off Davies boot right into the face, and I think Kanagiza will be happy that just went out and it didn't cause any real damage.
Be the Warriors through Caroline Poplis. Good ball up to Kane. Couldn't quite control it as O'Brien smashes it clear.
Caroline Popoulos has played a few of those long balls out from defence, and it's definitely bringing a mix-up of what Olympia traditionally do out from the back.
I think it's a good thing as well. I think there were a few games last year where they could have just looked to mix it up. It was a bit predictable, particularly from goal kicks and other situations. You just knew what they were going to do. So maybe obviously not leaning too heavily on it, but just having that in your back pocket I think might be a good option for the Warriors this season.
Yeah, definitely. Means defences can't just set themselves up in a block and have the time to really set that up with the quick long ball. It sort of catches everyone off guard a little bit.
Yeah, it just stops teams from being able to push up, cover the 2 short balls, and that was probably how they got themselves into trouble a bit too frequently last year, the Warriors. Not too frequently given the results they achieved, but they were at times their own worst enemies with the insistence on playing out from the back. They've got some defending to do here. The lively Caitlin Stalker can't quite keep this one in play, but has put in a pretty impressive shift through this opening hour. It's shown some good pace. And here is Caroline Popoulos trying to make something happen. Her team staring down a 2-goal deficit in this one. They find something in the tank to fight back, or will it be the Clarence Zebras with a first-half victory? A dream start for the new club. Here's Bonnie Davies through the middle, trying to find Kane, but marshalling at the back as ever. There's the imperious Sarah Dixon. Underneath to Kanagiza. Bronte Godon. Prize signing in the off-season, Bronte Godon. Fine young player. Here's Zoe Nichols getting the better of Innocent Michael, but then just trod on the ball and left it behind. Hustling and bustling away. Eventually, Lazinski should be able to clear the area. Tenacious attack on the ball. And at times the opposition, Zoe Nichols, absolute nightmare to play against, I reckon. No defender wants to deal. And Zoe Nichols sweating on them. And as we've seen, has got that poacher's instinct too, as you rightly pointed out, Molly. Just knows how to find the back of the net. And does it better than most. And it's Olympia who need someone to hit the back of the net here. They're going to get back into the game. Can they make something happen here? The substitute, Berry, working back on a fellow substitute, Isabel Kane. They just seem to be in complete control at the moment, the Cleverest. Georgia Burt. Berry. Turning. Shrugging off the attention, then working through for Stalker. Stalker cutting inside, shot was blocked. Goes on first to the full. Zoe Nichols might be eyeing off the hat-trick. Tried to slide in the through ball for Ferrier instead. She'll be sniffing about for a third, no doubt. Nichols. She wins it back for a side here. Stalker just shifts it deftly over the top. Berry beats the keeper to it and steers it just wide of the mark. A collision there between keeper and striker at the end of it. And had that found the back of the net, that may well have been the ball game.
I thought for all money there, Ali Berry was going to nestle that one in the back of the net. Just had the step on the keeper. Got there first. And yeah, definitely got there first. Obviously the collision at the end. But that one just going wide. And that really would have been probably the sealer for the Zebras had that one gone in. Both players right to continue. Which is good to see given the couple of injuries we've had so far in this second half. Warriors get it back underway. Lampopoulos. Good to see it, not afraid to step forward. Trying to play a few passes or join the midfield. This one, attack doesn't come off for the Warriors. And now it's Ferrier. Kanagiza. With plenty of time to size up her options. And unfortunately, didn't quite pick the right one. Not hasn't made the coach terribly happy with that selection. One of the few times we've seen Annapel rise to his feet in this game. As Warriors just look a bit, not quite shell-shocked, but just a bit shaken. Just not quite playing with any real intensity at the moment. It just seems to have gone out since that third goal. Don't know if you agree, Mol.
Yeah, it definitely took the wind out of their sails, hasn't it? They've not really found any answers. Clarence are really shutting down the options in midfield, giving them a lot less space this half. As Bonnie Davies puts on the Jets and hopefully can ignite something into this game for her side. But just on the wrong page with Chambers there, who was looking to go the other way, which is leaving a bit of space here for the Zebras as Stalker is just stalking up the field and plays it through. Zoe's on a hat-trick and she's found the corner.
What an amazing counter-attack there from Clarence Zebras from one end to the other in about 10 seconds. That was a beautiful goal. Finish off by their cup final hat-trick hero in Zoe Nichols. One-on-one with the keeper. Had a huge amount of space to aim for, but that was a delicious goal.
Yeah, clinical stuff this. Great transition from one end to the other, and there was Nichols, who's run the show up top. McNeil's still only given it 2, but after looking at that replay, we reckon that's a hat-trick. We'll give her the corner goal.
We need to have a hat-trick hero. Let's have it.
4-1, 3 for Nichols, and that's probably the ball game. Hard to see how the Warriors hit back from here. And 23 minutes to find 3 goals, and if anything, the goals might come the other way. The Zebras a bit between their teeth, looking to claim the Summer Cup. Of course, the trophy the Hobart Zebras missed out on last year. But, Clarence looks set to get their new era off and running with silverware.
First ever trophy.
Yep, 1 from 1. They'll be happy with that.
Good way to start a new era for the club and to start fresh with a trophy. It's always good to have it in the cabinet and not having any cobwebs even given the time to settle in there.
Yeah, it does stop any of the empty cabinet jokes that plague a few teams around the world. As Dixon goes forward. Now back to O'Brien. Just very good coordination as well. We're a bit worried here in the media box earlier whether the short numbers and the shirt numbers might not match. It's 2 completely different kits. It's pretty solid effort, especially when we have clubs, in the past who can't tell the difference in colours to get two different kits to match up. So very good effort there. Is now Nichols. Oh, that would have been an amazing goal. Didn't quite contort her foot to some form of crazy angle. And as Kanagisa hits that one wide. And that would have been a kind of one-footed scorpion
It's
kick.
almost, you want the bicycle kick almost to come out in that instance.
Yeah, she's gone the kind of scorpion flick. There's too many people who can pull that off. And there's Zebras keeping the intensity up as Burt sets that one in between three of her teammates. And obviously the Zebras made a sub at half time. Yeah, in the 70th minute. It'll be interesting to see if they go to their bench at any stage. Obviously pretty good lineup there on the bench as well. Arrow makes the goal kick short. Well, that's very convenient. As Zebras players walking to the halfway line. Given I've got about 10 people in my way, I cannot claim I knew that was coming. And Stalker looking to run at Marino. Charging towards the byline and corner conceded by the Warriors. I think they've taken that one quickly, and unfortunately the delivery wasn't quite there. Kept in play and getting ahead to it. It's, really caught all the Warriors off guard there. Shades of Liverpool men's in the Champions League last season. Trying to catch them unawares. Here's Johnson brings it back to Harrell-Lampopoulos, but that one will fall to O'Brien. Oh, a good ball. Up and coming to it is Michael. Trying to use this bit of extra space between the lines. It's appearing here late in the game. There's Kane. That's Davies. I'll tell you what. I think may have had the pace advantage there on Georgia Bird as well. I was surprised.
Open up, had a bit of space there. Georgia Bird was not going to be tight on Bonnie Davies there. She's too smart for that, but I think Bonnie Davies could have definitely just burnt her there, but they're on the attack anyway, but this way it's through Mia Kane, who looks for Maddie Chambers. And a fair challenge there, and the ref says it's fair as well, with Innie Michaels on the ball, and she's just waiting for the play to open up.
You won't see Ali Berry being knocked to the floor too many times this season.
No, I reckon you'd save that one up, because I don't think it'll happen too many more.
Two tough customers going head-to-head. Action on both benches by the looks of it. The Warriors preparing a double switch for the Clarence Zebras. It looks like Stacey Burdock is going to come into the team. Viewers might know her as Stacey Hutchinson, a former NTC player. Another one of the off-season recruits into this Clarence Zebras team, and another weapon at their disposal. Meanwhile, I think this is about as close to the white flag as you'll see from Olympia. It's Maddie Chambers being subbed off. Thursday comes to an end. Charlotte Chambers coming on. Ella McConnon also coming on. Hannah Johnson, the other one coming off. But I suspect the Warriors know their race is a run now, with Chambers going off. Their star player out there. I suspect if it was 2-1, we wouldn't have seen that substitution. And certainly an opportunity for the subs to make an impact, work their way into the first team ahead of the Super League season. Charlotte Chambers played a few games, particularly towards the end of last season. Here's Berry. Sends it down the line, broken up by Lazinski. Backheel forward for Chambers. That was shut down by Dixon. And then the pass from Kane. To Kane. Chambers trying to combine with Mia Kane there, but it's not the most threatening of areas here. And the Zebras will be more than happy for them to play in those areas of the pitch. especially with a 3-goal cushion here in the Summer Cup final. And it looks like it's going to be the Zebras claiming the silverware here today. The Warriors faithful in attendance, still have the opportunity to have something to cheer later on. Their men taking on South Hobart in the second game, so they'll be looking to make sure the club picks up one trophy, but the dreams they had at the start of the day of doing the double appear to have evaporated as a chance for buildup to try and make an immediate impact, but broken up by Innie Michael, who's battled hard for Olympia today, one of their better performers. And Matty O'Brien has not put a foot wrong since moving to centre back, and they've certainly got some strong defensive options this year. Zoe Nichols almost spinning free of 2. In search of goal number 4 for the day. Michael. Across to Lazinski. Forward to Gubb. Wide for Kane, but broken up by Kanageza. Tries to turn defence into attack once more and has found Stalker wide on the right. She's got 2 in the middle. Couldn't find them though. Played it behind both of Nichols and Burdock. Kane lofts it forward. Chambers just losing a footing in the opportune moment. Lampopoulos to Innie Michael. But you just sense the sting going out of this one now. The Warriors trying to make something happen here as the substitute McConnell, but ran into a brick wall. O'Brien just unable to bend that one back around.
Marino takes the throw to Davies. Not much happening there for the Warriors, and there's 3 forward for the Zebrals. Nichols is onside. Farrow's done well to come out of her box. Thump that one clear. Good high starting line there from the keeper.
It's probably the highest we've seen both the defensive line and the keeper in this match so far.
I was just thinking that there after our...
It's something they enjoyed a lot last season, but they've not really pulled it out today.
Something we did mention in the first half as Berry gets the ball in the box. Burdock is in a lot of space at the back post. That one too close to the keeper. So we have 13 minutes. That's change to go in the Summer Cup final. Zebras not far away from their first major victory as the new Clarence Zebras entity. Farrow collecting the ball. Just looking at the depth of this Zebras side, it's going to come in very handy over the course of a long league season. Obviously, the impact subs help in a game like this, but over a 20-game season, it certainly comes in handy as well. As Davies intercepts the errant clearance and calls for a bit more help. Lazinski gives it away, and Nichols, I didn't think she knew she was onside, but she was. Marino playing her on. Now, the shot comes in, but right at Farrow there from Stalker. Played really well so far today, has Caitlin Stalker. But Zebras, I don't think they quite realised just how much space they had then.
No, definitely. I think Zoe Nichols definitely thought she was offside there, but Marino just one step behind the line of defence that Nichols could see. And we have a sub down here. It looks like Rachel Gill is coming onto the field. And Caitlin Stalker has had a great day out on the right side as well as the left on both flanks. And we're getting the rush off motion from the referee there.
I think Caitlin Stalker quite reminded of the new rules where you can go off at any sideline, given she was about 3 feet from the other sideline, and is now just very much caught in 3 different minds here about where to come up. But you see Gill come on and going into defence.
And Stalker here being told of the new rules by the fourth official just for the next time she gets called off on the opposite side of the field.
Nichols. Maybe a tad too early to run for the corner, but maybe just wanted to do a trick like that. Michael coming across as the second defender and having a second crash landing of the day. Good to see her back on her feet a little quicker than the first time. Geezer.
I was almost
the return.
expecting a long throw in there with the way Kanagiza was lining up for that. Ellie Carpenter style, get it into the box. Zoe Nichols weaves away through it.
Brave of you mentioning anything Australian women's football related, Molly. I know you're on your social media ban at the moment from the current W League semi between Sydney FC and Melbourne Victory.
Yeah,
I nearly forgot then because you made me. I'm trying not to talk about it because you don't want to know, and you nearly made me forget the game then.
You can forget the game, it's okay. And we've got
Mia Kane coming off on the closest sideline to her on this occasion. Coming on by process elimination. That should be Collins, and it is. For those wondering, you are allowed to sub all your players, I believe, on at some point in this game. So Olympia clearing the bench, giving a few younger or reserve players a bit of a run here. As we mentioned earlier, depth so important here for the league season as Chambers called offside. Hanging on for that W League result. You see Molly with her preference towards Sydney and my preference to trying to beat a certain Liana Barati in the W League tipping competition. One behind with 3 games left. I don't think I'm likely, but some jangling for both of us when we get off the call and have a look at that result.
Waiting with bated breath for the opportunity to watch that one.
After finishing second last year, I'm really hoping to finish first, but as the referee now getting involved, really trying to improve that result. But assuming we're going to have a drop ball here, and we are. Uncontested as well, and well, not really new for us here, but I guess they've been in world football for a while now.
Yeah, obviously the rule changes coming in after the seasons had begun down here in Tasmania last year. Therefore, we played all last year under the older rules and regulations. So the rule changes still very new for a lot of these players who have played a lot throughout the Summer Cup competition. Plenty of rotation of both squads in the group games. There's Van der Neet. Going to be pretty tough to beat this year, this Clarence Zebras outfit. They've been dominant today against the Warriors team, who you'd probably say are definitely the biggest challenges to them in the Super League side of things. They're going to be very, very difficult to take points off this season, the Clarence Zebras. They'll be the red hot favourites to back up this Summer Cup title with a league title as well. And Bossy Gadon, just another one of those impressive names they've lured across there. And they've only got stronger with this merger from what the Hobart Zebras were last year. It's quite the formidable group. And the options they've brought off the bench today are a testament to that. It's not even in the squad today. Kayla Mason, they've got her to come in as well. So some real depth in options for this Clever's outfit. Look at around the back of the game, just going through the motions a little here as the former Batman villain, Rachel Gill, just strokes that one in the middle.
I don't know how they're going to fit all 4 centre-backs in this lineup here, the Zebras, this season.
Melbourne City have seemed to do that in the W League, so I'm not going to completely dismiss it.
Yeah, very true. And much like that Melbourne City team, Clarence Zebras possibly in charge to repeat what the Hobart Zebras did a few years ago and go undefeated.
Yeah, they're definitely setting a benchmark here and sort of asking all the other clubs to try and reach them, because it doesn't look like they're going to take the foot off the pedal at any point. As you can see from this game, they're still very happy to go and find the gaps and find some possible places to get some more goals in.
There's one of those centre-back options in Zara Dixon, and that's a wonderful through ball. Dangerous, although Lazinski read it well. Just got there in time to snuff out the danger. Plays it across to the substitute, Raya Collins. Forward for Charlotte Chambers. Stretches out. See that one out for a throw-in, so heading towards the final 5 minutes of this one. Clebra's set to raise the Summer Cup trophy.
And Georgia Burt here looks to be holding a calf and definitely didn't get the better of that ball there.
Just a bit of cramp perhaps. So the support comes in there from Marmion.
Looks a lot better technique on stretching that out than some of the efforts we've seen in football over the years, although I don't think it's quite enough as Georgia Burt looks in some pain.
Well, I hope it's just cramp.
I hope so as well. There's some deep breaths as well. There is obviously another option on the bench. Downham's all that's left, I believe, so that narrows the field down significantly.
That would be like for like as central midfield, and that looks like that switch will be made. So just Downham to come on here. I imagine she'll just take Bird's place starting the central midfield. Clarence United player just Downham. Played a role in the two rather heavy group stage wins that they had. Absolutely dismantling University in Taruna in their 2 games before this, and they've come across stauncher opposition today, and they've done the job pretty comfortably as well. Looming as a real force this year. The Warriors looking for a late rally. There's a fairly optimistic ball forward there. Able to make anything happen there to substitute McConnell. There's Gill. Goes towards Nichols, who's caught on her heels a little there. Now again, Collins to get the toe in.
Get the shin pads on.
Downham just opting to go without the shinnies.
When you're called upon, you have to just hit the field.
I wonder if there's going to be a word to the 4th official after the end of this game for that check. I'll get my silly question out of the way. Are these new nets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
It only took me 87 minutes to notice that.
Not a silly question at all. There is green suddenly in the nets.
There is suddenly...
Just thought they scrubbed up a bit different today.
Yeah. Oh, someone just gave them a paint or someone out there. We're going some new sponsorship, but no.
There's some shiny new nets for the new season. Listen, Michael plays a pretty good ball. There was a run being made by McKinnon. Yeah, no one really in position, but they'll get the throw in the advanced area. And they find a late consolation marker here, the Warriors. McKinnon swings it in, looking for Chambers. Well defended, Rachel Gill. Just got body position there and locked it off quite nicely. Wanting to allow a second goal in here today. Very nicely done. Chambers flicks on this occasion. Harmlessly wide of the mark.
Can confirm Monty Peace firmly in the naughty corner at the moment.
Referee's boss just joining us, and yeah, he's on top of it. He's scrapping for it on the wing here. Collins done well since coming on. Won pretty much everything that's come her way so far. Knocked back to Lazinski. Definitely going through the motions now this game. I think the players just waiting for the final whistle at this point. Gadon scrapping away there in midfield with Gubb. Draws the decision. Ali Berry's hungry for a goal. She's made a good searching lead there for O'Brien, but not on it in the end.
you know, and the centre back can just say, "Call your Jets," with a big smirk on your face. You know, you've certainly got this game in the bag, as Matty O'Brien just did then. Everyone's clear from Marino. I'm going to assume that's also from the previous kick and challenge out. Play continues. Gubb just getting ahead to it there is Gill.
Just enough.
And Denise, whose name I personally don't think I've called all half, gets a touch on it. Davies throws in a looping one towards Chambers. Former bat Van Villen knocks that one out for a throw. Indeed, it's actually going to go Zebra's way. As we tick into the 90th minute. And we will have 3 minutes of stoppage time. So, another 3 minutes before the Zebras can celebrate. And the celebrations will be big at, well, the shot comes in, comfortable for Van Den Eyck. Will they go to Wentworth Park? Will they go to the Italian club? Who knows?
Why not both?
We'll see what happens.
Straight to the den, I reckon.
Straight to the den, yeah, well, we'll put that past. Certainly the Hobart Zebras community, anyway. There's Dixon. Zebras playing some keep ball here at defence. Despite the best effort of Charlotte Chambers. And Gill. Lovely little nutmeg pass there from Bramante Gadden. It is firmly party time. KG5. Davies. A little flick towards Gubb. Diagonal ball through to Chambers. Tries the elaborate back heel towards Davies. And he could have hit that one first time on the volley.
Well, he'd be better off going herself there, I think. Opted to go the selfless play, which was probably the lower percentage one in the end, trying the back heel. It seemed to sit up for her as this one's just too far out ahead of Zoe Nichols before she can pounce on a fourth. And bagged her hat-trick. Very impressive performance once again from Nichols. Lovely ball from Minnie Michael. He's been one of the better players on the pitch. Has worked hard for the Warriors. Just hasn't quite had the support she's needed in midfield at times. Hasn't been able to hold back the Clebra's wave. It's just overwhelmed the Warriors' defence. We enter now the final minute of the Summer Cup. The pre-season coming to an end here. It'll be the Zebras' day. Could they just add a little exclamation mark on the end? They won't quite find goal number 5. Just denying the headline writers the 5-star pun that they were all lying off there for a second.
Performance, that.
Just a 4-star performance instead. The Warriors, can they make it 4-2? With a cross like that, they won't easily dealt with in the end by Marmion, who's looked very comfortable at left back, I must say. A handy pick up there. A good option in defence for them. Halle Berry still keen to get in on the action. Of course, was held back coming in the second half and perhaps trying to make up for lost time. Still running hard to the end of this one. Aaron Lampopoulos. Nice ball to Chambers. Couldn't find it back to Davies, although they'll get a second crack at it here. And sliding out. There's Van Den Eyck, and that might be the final action of the game as we tick past 93 minutes here. The Clarence Zebras have opened up their new era with a piece of silverware. It's the perfect start. It was a dominant performance. There was a slight hiccup when the Warriors pulled it back to 1-1. They had a period where they looked like they were getting back into it, but for the most part, a pretty ruthless display from the Clebras. And they start off their new football club with a Summer Cup triumph. A deserved win, you'd have to say, guys.
Yep, absolutely. I think, watching the second half there, they were just in control, which shows with the goals they're able to put it away when it counted. Olympia just unable to really last that 90 minutes. They got there for 45 minutes. We thought they could maybe come back in this one at 2-1 at half time, but Clarence just found that other level, and just once they found that other level, it just wasn't going to go any other way apart from the team in white, red and black today.
Amongst many others, yeah. I think at 2-1 it was still a pretty even contest at half-time, but really that substitution bringing on Ali Berry just added a bit of attacking drive, and the Zebras really came out with a purpose, especially in that first 15-20 minutes of this half, and really killed off the game from about the 70th minute onwards. It was very much just a training run from then onwards, as Zoe Nichols in particular really put the game to bed with her hat-trick. And I think the Zebras, they're going to be a force to reckon with this season, and firmly have their sights set on the WSL title, which I've got to say they're going to be roaring favourites for, surely, especially after this performance. And yeah, that defensive backline depth as well we spoke about towards the end of that game, they're going to be super difficult to meet, and fully deserved of this Summer Cup victory on the day.
Yeah, they'll be the most red-hot of favourites for that Super League crown this year, you'd imagine. They were pretty dominant here today. The second half was one of complete control, really. They never really looked troubled. We've got Michelle Heyman from Matilda to help present the Summer Cup. And we'll head over to the ground announcer in just a moment. Of course, do stick around. There might be a shortage of sport around the world, but we've got a couple of games for you here to sate your sporting desires this afternoon. Coming up next, it's Olympia Warriors and South Hobart in the men's side of things. So another game coming up. But, we'll get to the presentation in a moment. I'm just waiting on the Warriors to wander over to the grandstand side of the ground. And we'll leave you with Michael Edwards running the show. We'll be back shortly with the men's Summer Cup final.
Member for Lions, John Tucker, John, and also former Matilda Michelle Heyman. First, I'd like to make our presentations to our match officials. Our central referee was Claire Green. Assistant referees Nathan Coe, Emma Hall, and our fourth official, Monty Peace. And if we could ask Michelle to come back up. Please come up. And I'd ask the co-captains of the Clarence Zebras, Danielle Kanagiza and Zara Dixon, to come forward, please. First in to receive their medals. Not the trophy yet. Just medals. Medals first. And I'd ask Danielle and Zara to introduce their team to the crowd, please, and bring them up to collect trophies.
Izzy Ferrier. Jeff Downham. George Burt. Louisa Marmion. Stacey Burda. Oh, new name. Selena Steventon. Close. Zoe Nichols. Ali Berry. Rachel Gill. Caitlin Stalker. You know your last name, Stalker. Amelia Davies. Maddie O'Brien. And Bronte Gaddard. We'd just like to thank all the supporters for coming out and supporting both sides. Awesome, you guys are cheering us on. Big thank you to Olympia. You guys are going to be a great side throughout the year for us to play against. Honestly, you guys have got a good group of girls, a lot of young ones coming up through as well, so that's awesome. Well done, and we'll see you throughout the season. Nice to our girls, nice job. It's been a pretty tricky couple of months for us joining as a club, so I think we're stoked with our start at the moment. Lots to work on, which is always good, but well done, girls. And thanks to our supporters over there. So we've got Jamo, Carolyn, Callie, and Chris is not here today, but yeah, thank you. Yo.
Now we ask the co-captains to step forward and be presented with their trophy by Michelle Heyman. Congratulations, Clarence, 2020 Summer Cup winners. Thank you to John Tucker and Michelle Heyman for their assistance with the presentation this afternoon. Our next match at 4:30 is the Men's Summer Cup final between Olympia FC Warriors and South Hobart.